Hello friend, I want to tell you about the Toyota RAV4 car. Looking for a reliable SUV? You're probably looking for a Japanese car. There's Honda, Mitsubishi, and Nissan, but you'll still end up with the icon of reliability, Toyota. We're checking whether the third-generation RAV4 model deserves to be called a failure-free car. The design of the Toyota RAV4 has not changed much, except for one thing, the way the drive is transmitted. The RAV4 II used a central differential and permanent four-wheel drive, while the 3 featured a multi-plate clutch on the rear axle. A cheaper, simpler, more economical solution, and, as years of use have shown, practically just as durable. Which engine should you choose for the Toyota RAV4? It is worth noting at the outset that in 2009 the Toyota RAV4 underwent a facelift, and 2 units were added to the offer that were not offered before. 2.0 Valvomatic and a 150 horsepower diesel, so these should be ruled out if you want to buy one of the cheaper models from the beginning of production. The 152 horsepower 2.0 petrol engine is not the same engine as in the Toyota Avensis 2 produced around the same time, so there are no concerns about direct petrol injection. There are also no problems with engine oil combustion. Unfortunately, this is not a unit recommended by LPG installers. Valve seats are too soft, and clearance adjustment is glassy. Of course, it is worth calculating this, because the engine will last 100 kilometers on gas, and the installation will pay for itself much sooner. A branded system can only extend this mileage. In this respect, the newer 158 horsepower engine is better, with hydraulic valve adjustment, and its only serious problem is frequent coolant leaks from under the water pump. The 136 horsepower diesel, also 150 horsepower, like all diesel versions, is a risky purchase. The 2-liter engine in the previous model gave the second and third owners a hard time, and it's even worse here. It's quite easy to burn out the head gasket, and the injection system is very expensive to repair. The turbocharger and dual-mass flywheel give out relatively quickly. The timing chain, which can withstand long mileages, is a plus. The situation is worse with the DCAT engine with 177 horsepower, which was designed to improve exhaust emissions. It is easy to guess that the first owner was usually satisfied, and in the event of a serious failure, he sold the car. To the above-mentioned problems, you can also add EGR failures, problems with the particulate filter, and the injection system, which is even more expensive to repair. Mechanics are also not surprised by burnt head gaskets or cracks in the block. However, we are talking about extreme cases here, because many users do not have such problems and are satisfied. It is difficult to say unequivocally whether this is a faulty series or simply the specifics of use affect the failure rate. One thing is certain, buying a diesel version is roulette. Either it will be good and pleasant because the engine provides much better performance than a petrol engine, or it will be terrible. Some problems have been gradually eliminated, so if you really need a diesel, buy at least a car after a facelift, and preferably after 2010. What's wrong with the Toyota RAV4? Fortunately, the list here won't be long. Traditionally for the Japanese, the paint is delicate and corrosion can show up. Premature wear of bearings and manual gearboxes also occurs. There are no reservations about the four-wheel drive. The suspension is quite cheap to service, which consists of triangular wishbones with replaceable pins and bushings at the front, creating a typical McPherson strut. The steering system elements wear out most often, from the rods to the gearbox. At the rear there is a multi-link axle, in which one wishbone costing about $60 or the bushings are usually replaced. Unfortunately, the problem here is corrosion quickly engulfing the entire rear suspension beam, usually not enough to require replacing the element, but it looks bad. If you want to buy a RAV4 with a petrol engine with higher power and an automatic, you can decide on the 2.4 version. The petrol engine appears in cars offered on the secondary market, usually in models from the beginning of production. It develops 168 horsepower, but this surplus quickly disappears in the torque converter of the automatic transmission, so you can't count on better performance than the 2.0 Valvomatic with manual transmission. However, all that can be said about the American engine is that it is completely reliable. There is also a 3.5 engine in a V6 configuration with 273 horsepower. This is a good, dynamic engine. It was installed in Lexus's, Toyota Avalon and Camry, as well as in Siennas. However, buying a RAV4 equipped with this engine is very difficult. Is it worth buying a Toyota RAV4? In my opinion, yes, but only if it's petrol, and on one more condition, that it's not overly expensive. When it comes to diesel, there are better cars with better engines. In principle, you can say the same about petrols. For example, the Honda CR-V offered at the same time with the impressively reliable 2.2 ICTDI diesel. Overall, the Toyota RAV4 is not a car that stands out in any particular way. Reliability is on par with the aforementioned CR-V or Mitsubishi Outlander. In every other respect, it is average at best. Thanks for listening to me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and rate my video. If you know of any problems with this car that I haven't mentioned, be sure to write about them in the comments.